Alright guys, I want to discuss something that I like to call or label Hail Marys. So throwing a Hail Mary at the very end of your contest prep. What is a Hail Mary? You can probably guess. Hail Mary is taking a chance, taking a risk, hoping that the reward will be great. However, if you don't land the Hail Mary, there could be repercussions that could cost you your entire contest prep and blow your placing, your whole entire look. So examples of pre-contest Hail Marys are things that are extreme and dramatic during the final couple days or last week. Example would be people all of a sudden will like to load Anadrol 50, 100 to 150 milligrams a day to potentially get fuller, to help low glycogen, to help glycogen synthase, to help red blood cell count, to be fuller, to help with your carb load. They might add halotestin. Hopefully they add it a very mild dose, 10 milligrams, 20, 30 maybe. Some people are crazy, they might add more. Some people might add Superdrol, which is, I believe, methasterone, which I believe is similar to Anadrol, and it does have a glycogen synthase component where it does enhance glycogen synthesis, I believe, from a legit study, if I'm not mistaken. Another thing would be doing an extreme carb depletion when you're already shredded and lean, but just to load carbs that much greater. You drive yourself in the hole and literally do set after set after set, circuit training until you're shaking, just to ensure that the glycogen is completely depleted so you can majorly or extremely load carbs to the utmost. So that would be depleting on 0 while your sodium is super high for 3 to 4 days, and then loading on extreme amounts of carbs, potentially 500 at the low end every day to 1,000 to 1,500 every day for 3 days alongside insulin. Those would be extreme Hail Marys. Not to mention, to coincide with insulin, with major carbohydrate loading, you'd probably have a more aggressive diuretic protocol just to rid the chance of spillover and water retention. And that might call for Lasix or Bumex or Demodex or whatever loop diuretic or craziness that you want to employ with that. So, do the Hail Marys work? Yeah. Sometimes they will work. Sometimes you might land it just right. Sometimes you might get that super compensation effect from the carb load and you look spot on the money. Sometimes you're so damn dialed in and shredded and lean that it's hard to screw things up unless you severely restrict water, severely restrict sodium, and you can't come out of the hole per se. That's when you can screw up a really shredded physique. But if you are truly shredded, you can usually junk load because you're eating a lot of shit, sodium laden, fat laden, sugar laden food. You can load insulin. You can do a lot of things and still look crazy on stage because you did your homework and dug out all the fat cells and you're shredded. Now, regarding the chemical loading, sometimes you don't even know if the chemical's real. Sometimes you don't even know the interaction between X, Y, Z, ABC, all that stuff. You have so many variables at that point that there's so many things going on at the cellular level inside your physiology that you can't really pinpoint what might go wrong. Okay, so that's a huge backfire possibility. And you got to think, guys, my theory is always this: your body during contest prep is already stressed. It's already, if you are more extreme, you're at a higher level, and you're not using, just minimal dosages, you're pushing it. Your body is stressed out and you're rather toxic. Okay, you're toxic from the chemicals and you're also stressed out and overreaching from the excessive training, cardio, low body fat reserves. And whenever you add more stuff, that is usually a sign to your body that more chemicals are coming in, there's more craziness going on, there's more stress, more cortisol potential. You might hold more water. You might go into a defense mechanism mode, and it could actually wreak havoc on your physique, and you could look more tired and worn out and drawn out and not pop and not respond correctly because you're adding more chaos to the mix, per se. If anything, during the last 2 weeks, if you can minimize bodily stress, environmental stress, all emotional stress, everything, you're actually going to probably have a more vibrant, healthy looking physique and it'll respond better. So if anything, if you can cut out injectables, you can limit orals. I like to limit just one. Do Winstrol if you know you respond well to Winnie, or just do Anavar if you know that you're dry on Anavar and you're full. The Anavar has the phosphocreatine potential to load creatine, all that stuff. Just depends. But do one oral, minimal stress, cut out the injectables. If you look good on growth and shredded and full, don't even cut out the growth, just lower it to maybe 2 IUs. Your body will probably love you and you're going to look crazy and full on stage, okay? Rather than doing the opposite, and I'm going to up my trend from 50 milligrams to 150 the last week. I'm going to drop my injectables, increase 3 orals to 100 milligrams a day, so 300 milligrams a day of orals. People do this shit, and it's not necessary. Their mind goes crazy in the last week of prep. Their mind goes nuts. Usually this is done by themselves and what stupid shit they read or what they're influenced by. Or maybe they have a dumbass coach that just throws the kitchen sink at them and hopes some shit sticks to the wall. But my advice would be actually to minimize and do the opposite. In fact, I will even go as far as to say minimize that stress as far as extra orals, mega dosing, tren, all those things you think you might have to do to be anti-catabolic. I would say minimize all that stuff. And if you're good at site injecting, if you're truly good and you already have decent round muscle, if you were to inject the Nolatil or some type of synovial synthetic fluid or whatever is current nowadays, and you actually know how to site inject perfectly, use that to become a little bit fuller than your dumb fucking anadrol loading or your tren loading or your whatever loading. Load a little bit of that. That might actually be less problematic, less stressful if you can actually do it perfectly in whatever body parts, just to the right amount, and become full that way. More so externally, if it can stay encapsulated, who knows about this stuff. And then lay off the orals and all the other heavy drugs and come in stress-free and drier. So stop throwing fucking Hail Marys. That's just kind of what I've witnessed throughout the years. Have I thrown some Hail Marys? I have. I did some stupid stuff for the USA. Not crazy, but I mean, I've done more stuff than I probably should have done in retrospect. And whenever I've minimized things in the past, I always had a healthier, drier look. And that's just my own experience. A lot of people, maybe if they have, extreme protocols and it works every time for them, maybe they're lucky and their bodies just they handle stress very well. Their body processes the chemicals and disposes of what it needs, and it doesn't have crazy side effects. Some people just genetically are awesome when it comes to handling side effects. Some people are very sensitive. So my best advice, guys, is always avoid Hail Marys. Keep your mind straight. Don't overthink things. Just be in shape. Be dug out. Be peeled. Be dry. Be ready. Minimize things the last week, and just be ready.